Hello. How are we? I hope we're well. Should have cleared my throat before starting the video. Note to self. Anyway, how are we doing? I hope we're well. Yeah, this is a TFNation video. I understand some people's mindsets. Sometimes doing videos of this nature or this early is a bit on the top, but well, obviously it's not that early because there is a mini-con coming up, so even though I ain't going to that per se, but still, there is something coming up within the next month. No, actually relatively quite soon because we're near the end of February, so anyway, I digress. So basically, I wanted to just do a video for fun, a TFNation related video, and I just wanted to get some conversation going, a bit of fun, That's what YouTube used to be about, having a bit of fun. Now it's got a bit too commercialised and politicalised and all that kind of jazz, and a bit toxic in some certain things. But let's just bring it back to being fun, shall we? Anyway, so as you can see by the title, I'm going to talk about dream voice actor guests that have yet to be at a TFNation. This is a question that usually comes up in my Q&A more nearer the time of TFNation coming around, and I thought to just make a dedicated video just talking about this topic. I know people have responded to this question, but people's responses to this may change over time, or they might want to add upon that, given the circumstances. Also with new alliterations of the Transformers brand, different series, different films, whatever comes in the future, people's mindsets may change on this question. So that is the question topic today. So, who would you like to see? Of course, we're gonna have people say Frank and Pete. Of course, I'd love to see Frank and Pete at TFNation in the future as well. But expanding upon that, with how things are panning out, with how TFNation in August with the guests so far, how they are branching out, not just with just voice actors, but they are looking into actors that have been in live action films as well. So that's my mindset around this question is that you could really branch out on this question and really go into certain situations. Also, this helps the TFNation. Videos like this, asking questions like this, does actually give TFNation an idea of where to go and where to look into for the future, to try and bring the people a great experience when it comes to the guests. I mean, they do a great job without my help, but I digress. I get to the point. So yeah. So what? It doesn't necessarily have to be a voice actor per se, but what guests would you love to see at a future TFNation? It could be any sort of guest. It could be comic book related. It could be a voice actor. It could be an actor that was that is still alive, of course, that was a part of a live action film that you would love to see, because you've got different people throughout the whole Transformers thing that grew up with a certain thing and have a fondness for a certain thing, which is exactly what TFNation go for when it goes to booking guests. They try to kind of give the G1ers, or people that are fans of the G1 that have been there from the beginning, they try and give them something. They also give people that were born in the 90s, like myself. I was, technically a 90s kid. Well, I was a 90s kid, so grew up with a lot of the stuff that came out in the 90s and early 2000s and mid 2000s and such. So that was my time period. And then you got the 2007 generation of kids as such, and so on and so forth, But yeah, so naming guests. What guests would I love to see at a future TFNation? Now, I don't really go into the comic books that much, but I would love to see some comic book related guests that have worked on the new Skybound comic book. Whether they have done this for this year's TFN, I don't know, because they haven't actually announced any comic book related guests just yet for the one in August. They usually do have comic book guests, but they might be going down a different tangent this year. I don't know. But like I say, I don't know anything because I don't, I'm not a part of that behind the scenes crew. I'm just here just trying to help, get the word out, But yeah, I'd love to meet some of the people behind the Skybound Transformers comic books. Either the key artists, some of the people that did the story, like the people that actually wrote some of those chapters and stories with the new Skybound Transformers comic book. I don't know names specifically, but anyone that has worked on the current run of the Skybound Transformers comic book, that would be very interesting. Because obviously the comic book is still ongoing. I'm still receiving issues coming through the mail. So I'm still receiving comic books. So it is still being released steadily, all the issues. So it's still an ongoing thing. So it would be interesting to because a lot of people's mindset, a lot of the fans really seem to be really enjoying this new approach, this different approach, and much more of a darker, much more of a mature kind of feeling to this new comic book series by Skybound. So that would be an interesting panel to get some input, whether a couple of the writers that actually wrote it, and also maybe the odd artist here and there that worked on it. It would be nice to get some kind of an input from people that worked on those comic books. So that would be cool. Yeah, that would be very cool indeed. Also, I know this is a very big thing to say, but Jeff Klein. I know Jeff Klein is an executive producer, but his name's been connected to a lot of Transformers properties for quite a long time. His name pops up quite a lot. It was for Transformers Prime and I think maybe Animated. I can't quite remember now. But his name has been, attached to a lot of stuff. So I think he'd be interested. I know it's really pushing out the boundaries because obviously we've been an executive producer. He will be pretty expensive guest to get, which I do understand. Yeah, so I mean, obviously he is credited as a executive producer on a lot of them, but he is also one of the writers. I believe he has done some writing for some animated stuff as well. I believe he's worked on a lot of different things besides Transformers as well. So I think he'd be a really interesting guest. I think that would be a really cool panel to have with him. So that would be a really good one to get. Who else could I say? Also, another guest that I would absolutely love to meet is again another writer. And he was a part of the G1 movie, I believe, and he's been a big fundamental person behind a lot of different, not just Transformers, but other stuff as well. And that would be Flint Dilley. Yeah, Flint Dilley. I would absolutely love to meet him at a TFNation. Whether he actually does convention appearances, I don't know. I assume he would do, but I haven't really seen much of him at conventions, to be honest. But if he did decide to, that would be really cool because he'd have a lot of insight. I believe he's also he's one of the people that has witnessed the Transformers Bible. That was, all the different concepts and stuff. I believe he's also got a lot of stuff in storage that he's written that was never actually used. I believe, because I've got one of his books. You see, and he goes into that, that he's got quite a lot of stuff going on, quite a lot of stuff in storage that, that he's worked on for different things, and also Transformers as well. So he'd have some really cool insights, I believe, if he did a panel with him. That'd be cool. So then moving on to voice actors. Voice actors has always been the main draw for me to go to conventions, not just TFNation, but any convention that I've been to over the years. And I would say for voice actors, because like I say, they've managed to pull off a really cool thing this year with getting Scott, as well as Neil Kaplan, and so on. And also one of the voice actors from that was in the Transformers 1 film, which is fantastic. But for voice actors, I would absolutely would love them to maybe see about Phil Lamar. He's a good name. He's been a part of the Transformers thing at some points. So Phil Lamar would be one. Maurice LaMarche, Rob Paulson, those two. That would be really cool. Jess Harnell, so he was Ironheart in the live action films. Tara Strong, even though that would be she's a big name as Tara Strong, so should be expensive. So it would be one of these type of things that they maybe did with Sue Blue. Because with getting Sue Blue, she was a big name, of course, so it would have been pretty a big thing. So that's when they implemented the whole meet and greet package. I think they started to implement that when they announced Sue Blue, so people could actually get to meet her in person. So they had like a photo op opportunity with a meet and greet and kind of package, and it started when Sue Blue came, I believe. So they just implemented that going forward for all the guests of honour. So yeah, that would be pretty cool. To get Tara Strong, that because obviously she's been a part of she's been a big part of my childhood. I mean, a lot of the animated stuff that I grew up with as a kid, she was a part of. She was in a lot, she played Batgirl, in a lot of the DC stuff. She was obviously Powerpuff Girls. She was in a lot of the Cartoon Network stuff that I grew up with. So, she'd be a big name. She'd be a really, really cool. Obviously, she plays Sari in Transformers Animated. So that would be really cool to get Tara Strong. Another one would be Jeffrey Combs, I believe his name is. Jeffrey Combs, who was Transformers Prime Ratchet. I absolutely love Ratchet from Prime. He's one of my favourite characters from the Autobots because I just love how he comes over, especially with Bulkhead. And if anyone breaks anything, it's like, Bulkhead, I needed that. Just every time he says that, it just broke me. And I just love his voice as well. It's just such a cool voice for Ratchet, compared to the other alliterations of Ratchet's voices over the years. But I'd love Jeffrey Combs. He would be a really cool guest announcement in the future. Of course, I will just say, just for the video's sake, I know it's a very tall order. Frank and Pete will have to be added to the voice actor part of this video because, of course, I would love to meet them both, but they are getting on in years. I do know they were supposed to be doing... I do know they've cancelled an appearance in, I think, is it Canada or something? There was a friend of mine posted that apparently Frank and Pete had both cancelled an event. No, I don't know what the reason for that is. So that's a bit alarming, even though they are getting on in years. So, but I would love to meet them both, of course. Getting them both at TFNation at the same time would be a big tall order, but that would be really cool. I'd absolutely would love to meet them both, of course. But you've got to be somewhat realistic and understand the logistics and everything behind the scenes of it all, of managing to get them both. And it would also mean the ticket prices will probably have to go up as well as a result of getting Frank and Pete. Or they might be able to get around that with some kind of package deal, because the Frank and Pete would be a very expensive thing to get them both at the same time. That would be a very, very big tall order, I think. But I never say never with TFNation because they're able to pull off miracles, it seems. So who knows? But yeah, I'll have to mention Frank and Pete, of course. And I think that's going to be it. So yeah, I've gone through some writers, voice actors. I mean, I haven't gone into the actors territory because I think, you know, actual on-screen actors, because obviously like this year they got Sophia Myles, who was in Age of Extinction. To be honest with you, I'm not massively that big of a fan of a lot of the well, no, there's some good actors that are a part of those films, but I think a lot of those actors would be a big draw because they are big. Some of them are big names. So I don't really have a name per se. I'd like to meet in person. That was an actual on-screen actor. Yeah, I don't know. So I've kept that one out because I mean other people might have an opinion on that because you know that's fine. But it's just for me personally, I just don't really have a name. I mean, obviously, you know, some of them are like really expensive. You know, they will be really expensive because they are proper Hollywood actors and all that. So yeah, I'm gonna keep that one away from my response to this question. Also, just a very quick update. Something I didn't get quite right in my very first 2025 TFNation information video that I uploaded a bit back. I said in that video that the hotel allocation will probably go up on the day of the tickets going on sale. I was actually wrong. It seems they've gone down a different route with releasing of the dedicated allocation of the rooms or hotel allocation for the discounted rate. So basically, they are going to release the hotel discounted rate allocation in March. I don't quite know what the date is for that, but it is going to be some point in March because obviously TFNation Minicon's in March, so it might get announced either maybe at Minicon itself, or they might maybe making an announcement around that time. So yeah, so I just wanted to make that apparent in this video, just make right what I said previously, because I don't want anyone to get any miscommunication or you know get the wrong end of the stick and all fingers start pointing at me again. So anyway, so yeah. Yeah, hotel. Basically, the tickets went on sale. Was it like a couple of weeks ago now? So the tickets are already on general sale, so you can buy your tickets if you so wish. But the actual allocation of the discounted rate at the Hilton Metropole Hotel will be going on sale, or won't going on sale, but they will be made available in March. So I just wanted to make that very clear in this video. But anyway, so that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a good time watching it. Very much looking forward to some responses. If anybody would like to respond, please do so. Either comment below the video or make a video response. It would be nice to get some sort of acknowledgement. I miss the old days where people would literally just respond from all directions, whether they actually knew who you was or not. YouTube's changed a lot, and I don't really like the new YouTube. I prefer the older YouTube, to be honest, but there we go. But anyway, so thank you for watching, and yeah, have a good day, have a good weekend, and see you soon. Bye-bye.